Welcome to Realty Uncut. Our daily shows are powered by CoreLogic and supported by Printforce and realty.com.au.
Hello and welcome to Realty Uncut. I'm your host, Sadna Smiles, and joining me all this week is Director of Mitchell PT, Hayley Mitchell. And when we come back after this very short break, I'll be talking to Hayley about merging clients, systems and processes when you've bought a new rent roll.
Your business card is a vital selling tool and a constant visual reminder of who you are, what you do, and more importantly, how you can be contacted. Introducing our new Velvet business cards, featuring a luxurious premium laminate that has a velvet texture and is soft to the touch. Printed on a resilient 450 GSM card, these cards can be printed with a range of spot gloss and foiling options to give your office that prestigious look.
Hey, Hayley, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. Now let's talk about, I've purchased the rent roll and I need to merge the new clients onto my systems and processes, and I may have brought the property managers into my business as well. So there's a massive onboarding process that we need to do, including the culture. If I'm bringing people in or even clients in, they've been used to a certain way of doing business. It may be different software systems, etc. What have you seen in your experience where people merge these businesses together? What works really well?
First of all, getting the software right. So you want to make sure there's as little downtime as possible. And if you're merging, the same software to the same software, just make sure you do a couple of test runs beforehand to make sure that it all works. Have people dedicated to doing that admin cleanup as well. So I went from one software to another. We did a couple of trial migrates over a period of time just to make sure that we're happy with everything. And we fixed everything in the old software so that when it filtered through to new software, it actually filtered through correctly. Made sure that our property managers had the time to actually sit there and clean up any data. We knew what data needed to be cleaned up. We didn't just go, bang, let's do it and let it all fall apart. So you've got to really prepare for this stuff. And then once you've got all that sorted out, for me, property managers need to get on the phone. So they need to call all of their clients. And it's not just calling the landlords, it's actually calling all the renters as well. Making sure that they understand that the payment systems have changed, that you might still be the point of contact for them, or a new property manager might have taken on that particular portfolio. Because often what businesses will do is they won't necessarily allow the property manager that has been managing those particular properties to manage them at the new business, because they might have to change them for different locations. They might have 100 properties in this particular suburb now, so they're going to actually say, well, this property manager looks after that one, and you can retain some of your clients, but some of your clients will be new. So just making sure that all the clients know who their point of contact is as well. And then we want to make sure that we've integrated the new teams, and that culture piece is so important. And I've been working with a client recently, and they've purchased a rent roll, and it had old kind of legacy-based systems and procedures. They were very paper-based office, and they've moved to an office which is up here with technology, systems and procedures. And the property managers in the beginning were actually struggling a little bit. They're like, feeling overwhelmed and feeling like they're brand new to the job. And it shouldn't be like that. So I suggested that they buddy them up. So, they sit with a buddy who's been at the office for a long period of time that can actually answer all their questions on the fly. So they don't feel like they are just, floundering in the dark. Now, obviously, this is a little bit hard, particularly at the moment, because we are dealing with people that aren't in offices as much, and we are a lot more reliant on Zoom. But hopefully that's going to change pretty soon, and we can actually start integrating and building that culture within the organisations again.
Hayley, what fascinates me is this transaction of rent rolls has been happening for years and years and years and years and years. yet we don't seem to have a checklist as such, that one checklist that works for every business, because what you've just described is a huge process where you start pre-settlement or pre the first settlement going through, then the bringing on the clients, getting them embedded, and then the next stage. And yet we all seem to want to do it in different ways. Why is that?
I really don't know. I think it's something that we don't do a lot of. So I've done it a couple of times now, but there's agencies that might do it once in their whole career. They buy out one person. So I think with those larger agencies that have a big acquisition strategy for growth, they've probably got it down pat now. They know exactly what to do. They roll them in, they've got the admin there, they've got it all done, and off you go. But for smaller agencies, it might just be buying out their competitor or pulling 100 properties from there and integrating them. It is done on the fly. And that's where we get called in quite a bit to go in and get people through the process, because a lot of people also think, I'm not going to pay someone to help me do it, I'll just work it out. If you lose 3 managements because you didn't follow a process right, the fee for a consultant is more than covered. So, if you know what you're doing, great. But if you don't, go and seek that independent advice. And there's heaps of people out there that can help with it, because it can really make a big difference to the amount of properties you end up with after the retention period.
If you're in doubt, call Hayley is what I can say. Hayley, thank you for that. Now, when we come back tomorrow, which is our last day together, I want to talk about retention and growth, because as you've just mentioned, like if I bring on a rent roll, I've paid 3, 3.5, 2.7, 2.5 times the value. So anywhere from $2,000 to $3,500 potentially per property. I want to make sure that I retain it, because if I don't, I'll lose the property, but the debt with the business remains. And it's really important that people in the industry, particularly property managers, understand this concept. So I look forward to talking to you about it then.
Excellent.
Realty Uncut is part of the Realty Media Group and is powered by CoreLogic and Printforce. See all our shows, Realty Talk, The Property Show, Realty Uncut and Auction Update at realty.com.au, the home of property.